Hello Cancer, welcome to my channel. I'm your Cosmic Auntie and this is going to be your monthly reading. I am recording this in November, Scorpio season, but it could find you at any time and feel relevant to you. Tarot timing works in its own unique way, so whenever it does find you, I'm thrilled that you're here. Please stay if you'd like. I'm looking forward to what this energetic chat has in store for us. I hope that there's elements that provide synchronicities, elements that provide, insight to assist you in greater clarity to what you are sensing, experiencing at this time. And yeah, I hope it's of service to you in some way. So as you pay attention to the messages, always tune in with your own intuition, your own inner knowing. You know yourself best, okay? When a message resonates, you'll know, and when it doesn't, you'll also know, okay? These are a tasting plate of energy. Take what you want, leave the rest. So let's jump in. I'm going to introduce my tools. This is the Golden Tarot. This is the tarot deck that stepped forward to want to work with this month's energies. It's my first ever tarot deck that I chose out for myself and really initially committed my learning to this craft on. As you can see, it's very well loved, and I always love it when this deck steps forward to want to work with the energies I'm working with. So I hope you enjoy. And then this deck I'll be pulling at the end. It is a oracle deck called the Lightworker Oracle. It just provides this amazing summary of the energy with a precision that is quite remarkable, and the artwork is really quite beautiful, so I hope you enjoy that one as well. And then please stick around because I'm pulling a card from a deck I don't usually pull from. It's called the Path of the Soul Destiny cards, and they're fractal energy images. They're really beautiful, and I invite you to feel into these images and pay attention to what you experience, and then let me know down in the comments what came up for you, what they reminded you of, what you saw, what you felt. Okay, I love hearing from you. And please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you'd like to. That really helps me out with growing this channel and reaching other people that may resonate with these messages. So please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It'd help your girl out a lot. Okay, Cancer. So let's jump into the messages. The visual that I received for you this month was the word spread, and I saw like a long table just full of food, and it was really aesthetic and beautiful. It felt autumnal, very to the season that I'm recording this in. Candles and leaves, and yeah, it just was really quite beautiful. And then I flashed to a visual of peach slices in cream, and it was this peaches and cream dish. And then I heard the word offerings. So I get the sense that there's an element of offerings. There's things that maybe you are ready to offer, or ready to host in some way, or ready to share. With this spread, right, it felt like a dinner party, so I just keep getting this question popping into my head, like who would you invite to your dinner party? Like, who's on your guest list? I feel like that's something that's important to this energy, and it really reminds me of like a next step to the energy we talked about last month, which the reading is called Beasts of the Deep, and the visual was literally fighting a big fish on a fishing rod and like struggling with it, and talking about diving in deep and pulling up these beasts of the deep, and in order to bring awareness to them. And we talked about preparing them and serving them on a platter, because there's this kind of element of transmuting pain into creativity or offerings in some way, really kind of getting clear on who you are and what you do want to offer, and the gifts that you hold, and how leaning into the painful places and fighting them up provides a clearer channel for the gifts to rise to the surface as well, because pain can create some blockages, and the more we lean into those blockages, the more they can break up, and the flow of gifts can take place. So yeah, who would you invite to your dinner party? And you know, Cancer, you do love feeding people, don't you? And you are very nourishing as an energy. Very nurturing, very nourishing. And so with this like spread of food, I just feel like there's just so many you know, gifts that, you know, want to be shared. Perhaps there's certain people that you want to share them with. So let's see what's coming up for Cancer. So the first cards that have come out are the Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups. And then the Ten of Swords at the bottom of the deck. So kind of going back to that previous reading, Beasts of the Deep, when they're linked to certain painful blockages or painful memories or painful experiences, and kind of grappling with them and wrestling up to the surface, and, you know, taking time to prepare them and share them, even if it's just with yourself, to nourish yourself. But with the Ten of Pentacles and the Seven of Cups, I just feel like there's certain kind of, again, when it comes to family, many different, sorry, my cat is going wild over there, many feelings when in regards to family, and let's get some more information, because the Seven of Cups can bring an element of yes, whimsy and potential, but also because there's so many options, there's so many potentials, there's so many ways to feel, it can bring in an element of confusion as well. And so with the Ten of Pentacles, this is a kind of solid foundation. Again, a generous card. So I get the sense you just have so much to offer, and there's just so much to give. You have so much to give, Cancer. What else is coming up? Whoa. Really shot out. So the Ten of Swords, again, has popped out. Maybe it's a sense of really valuing, you know, yourself, and when it comes to any kind of painful experiences, when it comes to family or even groups or communities, like Ten of Pentacles is a family card. It is, you know, generational health and wealth. It is abundance. It is generosity. It is sharing and giving, and also receiving, and feeling safe and feeling stable. And with the Seven of Cups, that brings in an element of almost instability, but it's just that there's so many ways to feel. So I get the sense there's probably just so many feelings that could be coming up. And when it comes to painful places, it's like there's an observation of what has occurred, what has happened, you know, what is unfolding at this time, what you're doing, what you're growing. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles and the King of Pentacles. My cat. So again, back to these offerings. With the Knight of Pentacles, it's like this act of service kind of energy. And the King of Pentacles being another generous card, another card of generosity. It's so interesting, Cancer, because I just get the sense that there's this certain kind of element of pain that is becoming more articulated, and then maybe some of you, if you feel safe to do so, are facilitating a conversation, or facilitating, you know, maybe an event, a table to share, you know, and preparing food, preparing things, and also with the notion of maybe, yeah, opening up about how you feel and what those certain like circumstances felt like for you. And this is very much like, maybe that's just for a few of you, again, if you feel safe to do so, because with the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Pentacles, the Seven of Cups, it's like just really coming to a certain clarity with the pain that you feel, and how multifaceted those emotions are. With the Seven of Cups, it's just like, that's an energy of bringing, again, like, it can be an element of confusion, and invites us to kind of center ourselves, to feel into all the emotions that are coming up, or if there's any kind of, you may be experiencing like very vivid dreams, and very deep intuitive like sensations. Maybe some of you are, you know, this could be for a very few of you, feeling ready to like reach out to certain family members, or like reach out to your children, or, you know, reach out to your parents, wherever you fall in that. There's a certain kind of energy of like, yeah, like reaching out and making those moves, and preparing something, like, again, maybe preparing a space to have a conversation, or, you know, preparing a meal to host this conversation. Like, maybe that goes hand in hand. It's all coming back to like wherever you fall in that, and however this is resonating. If it does, it's like this notion of becoming very aware of like your value, your gifts, your capacity, your capabilities, and what, you know, how you share love. And with this like spread of food and aesthetics and peaches and cream, there's this very sweet nature coming through here, and very giving. So, you know, maybe some of you have been kind of a bit distant with certain members of your family, or certain, you know, there's this notion of kind of wanting to close the gap. Again, if it feels safe to do so, if that feels like it resonates with you, that won't be for everybody. There's a certain element of becoming real with the pain that you've experienced, as well as maybe even the pain that you've caused. Again, to, if you're, you know, a parent and are, you know, looking to open up a dialogue with your children about how they feel, there's a certain readiness to you know, to be present with that. And with the Seven of Cups, I mean, there could be just so many ways, you know, they feel, and then on the flip side, if you're reaching out to a family member, to feel ready to share yourself, again, it can flip around. There's a certain kind of anticipation and murkiness with how it all could go down. And if none of that is like really your energy, I also feel this sense, coming back to your value, of just being very clear of what you give, and how valuable your energy is, and how, you know, giving and generous you are, with a certain kind of discernment. I feel like, you know, the times that perhaps you've felt pain has assisted you in developing healthier boundaries with how much you give. And it doesn't make you any less giving. It just means that there's discernment here. And I think that there's an element of discernment, even if it comes when going back to that family dynamic conversation. You know, there's an element of discernment with that as well, feeling a certain readiness and feeling a certain just feeling a certain readiness to have those conversations, or to host this event, or to close the gap in some way when it comes to your family or your community. What's up with this Ten of Swords? And if for some of you are really kind of like, if you're experiencing like no contact, or you're not feeling comfortable with, you know, reaching out to family, or family reaching out to you, there's an understanding of why, and is kind of showing up for yourself as to why, and kind of nurturing yourself and soothing yourself and moving towards circumstances that feel healthier for you just by action. There's an observation here of what has worked, what hasn't. So the Queen of Pentacles. Yeah, there's just like a certain like understanding and understanding of like how valuable you are, and how much you give, and how worthy you are of being discerning, of being protective over your peace and over your heart. The Queen and the King to like their counterparts. So I do get, a parental energy, to be honest, a parental energy, you know, when it comes to kids of your own, or in relation to your parents, or generational kind of things. There could be generational pain being navigated with these cards present. What's up with the Seven of Cups? The World. Yeah, there's certain kind of chapters that have come to an end, and chapters opening. That's what the World kind of brings, and it's endings and beginnings. So there could be a certain readiness to bridge the gap, like I said. There could be a certain awareness to how those chapters have ended, and there's a whole kind of new vista opening up before you. And that's where I get the importance of asking, like, who is at this dinner party? Because not everybody needs to be invited, right, Cancer? And that's no hate to them. It's just like, you know, there's a certain discernment that I'm sensing in regards to who you're inviting into your space. Yeah. And you know what, when there's like, the World sometimes creates a certain energy of like being on the threshold of endings and beginnings, and how like you know, different that can feel like, because it can feel very you know, a little bit unstable. There could be a lot up in the air, like what's going, you know, that when you're looking into the abyss of a whole new chapter, looking off into the vista of this expansive view of, and turning around and seeing certain painful circumstances, seeing certain chapters, seeing, you know, abundance and joy, all the things that have probably, you know, occurred in the chapters that have come to be so far. There's a certain looking at it in retrospect, which can be very kind of foreign as well, when you've been navigating through these things and you've been in the thick of it, and now all of a sudden you're able to turn around and look at it in retrospect. It's like, whoa, you feel that, like, you feel that ending, you feel that kind of close to it. And, you know, we always bring a little satchel of the tools that assisted us, the tools that we've gained in the chapters that have been into the, new vista. So I sense like there's a little like wanting to hold my little bag or my little toolkit and turning to face this whole new chapter. Now, again, some of you may be feeling ready to bridge the gap between certain family members, to be able to share, share yourself with them, or, hear from them in regards to, what happened. Some of you are feeling a sense of freedom. I think there's a sense of freedom in regards to how this is lying with any of you, but there's a real sense of freedom and a sense of peace with the closure that has come to be, and really kind of stepping into this new vista, thinking about who's at your table. Who are you inviting to be at your table? The Ten of Pentacles. The Ten of Pentacles is having, there's a success with it. There's an abundance with it, an abundance enough to be shared. So there's certain gifts here that have been gleaned from the chapters that have been, and with the overarching frequency of being aware of just how beautiful you are and how much, how valuable what you give is. And so being, again, very discerning about who's at your table. What's up with the Seven of Pentacles? What can we know about that? The Eight of Wands. So there's major insights and shifts that have taken place or will take place wherever this falls with you, in regards to like what has worked, what hasn't. And like I just get the sense that, Cancer, there's a certain kind of awareness of yourself at a deeper level, and able to kind of share yourself in a kind of it's so hard to quantify into words. Sorry. So I'm just gonna take my time with this. It's like there's just major flashes of insight over what has worked, what hasn't, what's grown, what's taken off, what hasn't grown, because the Seven of Pentacles is a card of like taking a pause, taking a kind of inventory, being a very observational over what's being grown, what's being built, and kind of taking a pause to make any kind of adjustments necessary. Now I sense with the Eight of Wands, this is flashes of insight. This is movement. This is, maybe some of you have moved, maybe some of you have traveled, or want to travel, bring your family on a trip or something like that, or go on a friend's trip with people that are at your table. Like there's just an awareness of like just being very, there's a clarity with who you feel is very much there for you, and who really like values you and what you give and what you bring, and how much you put into your relationships, put into your life, put into everything that you do, Cancer. So I sense that there's like certain epiphanies that could be occurring, and epiphanies of reciprocity, epiphanies of like maybe who you feel safe around, epiphanies on maybe who you might even miss, and want to check in with, and with an openness to allow like them to respond, whether or not they respond or not. Again, this is for very maybe just even one of you, like again, when it comes to bridging the gap with family, or bridging the gap with anything that has been painful, or anyone that's caused pain, or if you have caused pain, there's a sensitivity here, and there's going to be a spectrum of readiness and a spectrum of comfort. So always remember, check in with yourself and do what is best for you and what feels connected to your healthiest well-being. And because some of you I sense are feeling really good about maybe some ties that have been cut as well, and that have really assisted in developing a family unit that feels very safe, that feels very abundant, and also when it comes to community, some of you may have moved communities and made that choice to kind of, and have really been connecting with people, places, and things that support your growth, support, you know, your energy, and who really value what you give and see you. There's a certain kind of like vibe here, Cancer, of being seen for how much you really do give, and by people and places and things that don't drain the energy, that don't just be like, oh yeah, give me, give me, give me, give me, give me. Because there's a certain discernment, there's a certain awareness with that kind of energy of being drained too much, being giving too much, and, you know, creating healthy boundaries in regards to, you know, that. And that I can imagine feels very different for you because you are just such a giver, but also Cancer can really kind of go deep within and has that, you know, hard shell on the crab and really like protect itself when there's been a certain element of being, you know, energetically depleted. So yeah, interesting. What's up with the Knight of Pentacles? So yeah, major epiphanies over what's worked, what hasn't worked, and the next steps forward, incorporating that learning. So the Six of Swords, the Knight of Pentacles, yeah, there's a certain notion of feeling of moving on mentally, and having more room to kind of put your unique flavor onto the things that you're growing, the attention that you want to give to the people, places, and things that, you know, you're responsible for, but also that you love and that you nourish. Interesting. Again, some of you also may be like traveling or ready to travel, or like, sorry, that was really loud. Ready to, you know, book a trip, or some of you are thinking about maybe moving. But ultimately the Six of Swords is just moving on, period. You know, that's it, moving on. It's also a card of, yeah, it's an air energy, so it's in the mental space. So I just sense that there's been clearing of the mental space when it comes to the Ten of Swords, removing those swords one at a time in, you know, the way that feels good to you. And through that process, having more mental space to focus on what it is that you're wanting to focus on and grow. You know, the Knight of Pentacles is not always the fastest moving knight, and definitely not. Actually, I think they're the slowest moving knight, but they do get the job done. They are doing things like they have a carefulness with what they do, because they don't step forward unless they have a solid ground to step on, and they really take the time to build those foundations, and what they build is really strong. So, and, you know, has so much growth potential. And with the King being here, you know, that's, and the Queen of Pentacles, like I sense that there's, you know, things that you've been growing really. Maybe some of you, you know, again, are parents and are really kind of finding your own way with, you know, raising your children, and being confronted with maybe some of the inner child pain that occurred through raising your children. Because I can only imagine that, you know, raising kids or being around kids, or, you know, being, you know, a caregiver, there's only like, there could be just so confronting with maybe the things that, you know, you've experienced. And I sense there's like kind of a transmutation with that, in order to kind of show what you do not want to be, and you know, pivoting and doing it in your own way that is, you know, kind of opposite of what that was, if that makes sense, and finding your own rhythms with the family that you've created. Sorry, my cat, she might jump over here. And that you're raising. And then again, I also feel like this could be coming from, like, this could hit hit with parents of older children as well when it comes to connecting with your older children and being ready to listen to them, ready to listen to them wholeheartedly, even though it might be challenging, and to be present and to be solid for them. So that could be just for one of you out there, but I do feel like there's a sense of wanting to connect in a very real way and being ready for the, you know, myriad of emotions that, you know, could be shared. So, and which takes great healing and great reflection. So yeah, interesting reading, Cancer. All right, and what's up with this 10 of Pentacles? The 3 of Wands. Yeah, I feel like there's this notion of like really being quite intentional with the family unit that you are responsible for. So like if you're a parent, there's very intentional energy here with the growth and stability of providing for the family and being present for the family. Again, very almost like taking notes from your inner child of where there's pain caused and flipping that and doing opposite. And there's a certain healing energy with that as well. There's also like a certain element of, you know, if you're out there and you're Cancer and you have no family and, you know, none of that really resonates, there's an element of growing something here, like a business or something with your livelihood, and being very intentional with the growth of that of that craft, that project, that business, that position at work. You know, with a position in a community space or anything like that. There's very real like success here through very determined and intentional observation. And, you know, it may not have been something that a success that happened overnight, but it's something I see that is very much deliberately built upon and worked on one step at a time and in a very real and strong way. And I get there's a sense of like success and celebration. So maybe you've gotten to a point where like, you know, you're very much achieving success in your business and your livelihood, and there's a kind of a dinner you want to host, right? You want to put on a spread for the people that you love and the people that you feel, you know, loved by. And again, even if you're not feeling that family part, what we're talking about, if this is to do with your livelihood and your business and your, you know, position in a community, there still is very real discernment of who you are inviting to this table, because there's like overarching energy here of being very clear of the gifts that you have and the gifts that you bring, and how generous you are, and how that is to be, you know, kind of sacredly protected. It doesn't mean that you're any less giving. It just means that there's discernment here. All right, so it's kind of a long reading, sorry, Cancer, but I feel like there's just so many layers to this energy. One more clarity for the King of Pentacles, please. Ten of Cups. There's like, yeah, what you're building here, the family, you're growing, and like the love that you bring into it is very present. Like whether or not you are a parent ready to have, you know, maybe a difficult conversation with your children, specifically grown children, I sense that there's a lot of love that is there, and a lot of love that you're bringing into it. It's almost like a heart on your sleeve kind of energy. And for those of you who are parents to children right now, again, there's such a sense of emotional stability and love and emotional security that you bring into your family. And there's a solid energy. Again, some of you may, as you raise your kids, may be very much confronted with some inner child pain and are taking that pain and kind of turning it on a dime and doing I want to say opposite, but there's just so much creativity with, kind of turning that and doing something different. And that is something that is really healing, I sense, and brings a lot of emotional depth and stability into your family life and into your children. So hopefully I can reflect that to you. You're doing a great job, okay? And it, like, even if there's certain triggers, being able to hold those triggers with the Queen of Pentacles, being able to hold space for them and show up for them, like, and kind of mother yourself and reparent yourself, and thus turn around and be able to provide more stability and love and space and security for your children and your family. For those of you who are growing a business, who are, growing a position at work, a position in a community space, there's a lot of joy and stability and emotional, all those things, like emotional depth and security and safety that you bring into what you do. And it's very evident how much love that you have for what you do. So even if it's like a hobby or a craft of something, it's very evident how much love that is put into the work that you do, and really assists in the success that you are, gaining from what you are doing, Interesting. Okay, let's do some oracle. It's coming up for Cancer. My goodness. So we've got Ascension, the Rainbow Bridge, which is interesting because I used the word bridge a few times, bridging the gap, things like that. There's a certain kind of, and then the bridge of the ending of chapters and the beginning of new ones, and the potential of all of that. So let's see what it has to say. Okay. You have been growing spiritually and your consciousness is expanding. It is transforming your experience of the material world from something you must control or conquer into a living expression of the radiant divine. As your appreciation and love for the material world becomes more unconditional, so too does the light that can flow into your aura, chakras, and physical body. As you psychically expand, you may need more rest, healing, and meditation than usual to integrate this increasing degree of light and the consciousness it awakens within you. So, yeah, there's this expansion, there's this ascension, this growth, really tapping into your soul and your gifts and what you bring and what you offer and what you want to offer out of the generosity of your heart. And it's really beautiful, because where does it say here? It is transforming your experience of the material world from something you must control or conquer into a living expression of the radiant divine. So yeah, there is something there with that for sure. There's so much earth energy. There's so many insights and expansions and, mental clarity and moving on from the chapters that have been, come to be, and feeling into the Seven of Cups, this intuition, this awareness, and it's really cool. So, and not feeling to control or conquer so much, but kind of releasing your grip and offering, kind of having your hand out to receive as well as to offer, to receive and give. Cool. Okay, what's the fractal energy image for Cancer? Ooh. This is beautiful spiral. Sorry if these are really shiny. It's this gorgeous spiral. It kind of reminds me of like the ocean, and it gives me like the world vibe, everything kind of, things happening in cycles, gives me kind of Wheel of Fortune energy too, even though the Wheel of Fortune's not here. Just the flow and the infinite kind of, it's like, again, I'm having a hard time putting this energy into words, Cancer, because I just feel like it's so layered, but there's just this notion of like cycles and intuition and emotion. It reminds me of the ocean, which is, a realm you rule over, and being a part of this sacred spiral, being an integral part of the sacred spiral. So let's see, I'm going to put it up here, and I invite you to continue to feel into it. What comes up for you, Cancer? What does that image kind of do for you? Healing with intention. So that is so cool, because I do feel like such an intentional energy in your reading. So what it says is, when this card appears, it is because you have been asking for assistance. Divine healing energy travels in spirals, and that is what this card represents. Are you a healer who is questioning your abilities? Then this card is here to tell you that you are a gifted healer and you are on the right path. Set your intentions to understand and use your gifts to their fullest capacity. Trust this gift you have been given. If you have health concerns, be assured that the healing process has begun. Set your intentions clearly on allowing your body to receive the healing you seek. The energy of health and restoration surrounds you. Trust your process. Yeah, being very clear of the gifts that you have, and how to utilize them, how to give them, and where you feel comfortable giving them, who you feel comfortable giving to, and just in general, this connection with life, just this, your abilities. You are a healer. You are so nourishing. That's the whole kind of start of this video, is this spread of food and peaches in cream, this like nourishing energy, food that nourishes the body. Like, there's just things out there, Cancer, for each and every one of you that you do so well, and you bring so much love into the things that you do, the things that you build, the families you're raising. There's so much love I sense. If you are a parent out there who are ready to host a conversation, there's a realness and accountability I sense with that, and an openness to hearing from any kind of family members you're feeling like you want to have a conversation with, or you want to bridge that gap. But in general, there's just this notion of like, yeah, maybe what does it say? Healing with intention. This card is here to tell you that you are a gifted healer and you are on the right path. Yeah, you are on the right path. Triggers can pop up, especially because there's so much success here. There's so much growth here. There's so much potential here. And I sense that your heart and your soul is being put into what you are growing, and little triggers can come up and kind of, but there's a sense with the Queen of Pentacles here of holding space for those triggers, and again, mothering yourself. Set your intentions to understand and use your gifts to the fullest capacity. Trust this gift you have been given. So trust the gifts that you have been given, and trust the gifts that you are exploring and sharing. And yeah, I hope that this energy has been helpful in some way. Please leave me a comment down below, like, subscribe, and again, let me know what you kind of notice with this image. So thank you so much, Cancer. I send you so much love in everything that you're doing, and I will see you next month.